Zeeland Lumber and Supply Company is in the business of delivering many products to our customers, delivering lumber, trusses, and wall panels, delivering doors, windows, and trim, delivering a lot of building materials to our customers. There are several components to our delivery service that receive our strong attention. Having a fleet of well-maintained delivery trucks, making sure the orders we ship are complete, doing everything we can to make our deliveries on time, and placing our products on the job site where the customer wants them placed. But the most important aspect of our delivery is one that merits our strongest attention, is making absolutely sure that our loads are secure. Our drivers and material handlers who load our trucks need to know that their load securement responsibilities are probably the most important duties of their job. A load securement failure can very quickly lead to a very serious problem: a vehicle accident, serious injuries, or deaths. The kind of problems that make the probable product damage or loss hardly worth mentioning. Properly securing a load is not just a good idea, and is not just company policy. It is the law. The law requires that all cargo be contained, immobilized, or secured so that it does not blow or fall off the vehicle, or shift upon or within the vehicle to such an extent that the vehicle's stability or maneuverability is adversely affected. A load securement violation carries an extremely high and an appropriately high point value in the Federal Compliance, Safety, and Accountability Enforcement Program. So, as a driver or load builder with load securement responsibilities, you are expected to pay very close attention to take these responsibilities very seriously. Each of you should have been given a Cargo Securement Handbook for drivers. We expect you to read it thoroughly and keep it in a place so that you can easily refer to it should you have any doubts about how to safely and legally secure a load. The handbook has a section devoted to the type of products we deliver. The section titled Dressed Lumber and Similar Building Materials. You are expected to study that particular chapter very thoroughly. This video program is not intended to cover everything in the handbook, but will be covering some key items we want to emphasize. This video program is primarily for the drivers who transport trusses and wall panels. Should you be a driver that delivers lumber, doors, windows, and trim, there's another program available that focuses on load securement of those products. Before loading any trusses or wall panels on the trailer, there are two very important points to remember. First, make sure that the rollers are locked in place and unable to roll. Secondly, the load should always be flush on the driver's side so as to give the driver the best visibility into the lane to his left. The escort vehicles will assist the driver in moving into a lane on his right when necessary. A cargo securement system must be able to withstand the forward forces that occur when a truck is braking, the rearward forces that occur when accelerating or climbing a hill, the sideways forces that occur when turning or changing lanes, and the upward forces that occur when traveling over bumps or cresting a hill. A load securement system uses one or more of the following elements: vehicle structures such as anchor points and headboards, securing devices such as straps, ratchets, and chains, and blocking and bracing equipment. Since so much of the material we deliver is secured with straps and ratchets, let's initially focus on that area. First and foremost, you should regularly check your straps for damage. Check for cuts, holes, or fraying, especially at the hook. Sometimes the deterioration of the strap is not visible until it's put under tension. So check your straps both before you tighten them and after you have them put under tension. If you find that any cut or frayed section of a 1/4 inch or more, cut the hook off the strap and then dispose of the strap. Every truck should have extra straps. Whenever practical, and it usually is practical, put the strap inside the rub rail, not outside the rub rail. If the straps are outside the rub rail and there is a side swipe accident, there is a very high possibility that the straps will be cut and your load might fall off the truck. Because of the extra width of truss loads, it may be appropriate to loop straps through the webbing of the trusses. The minimum number of straps required is different based on whether the material is prevented from forward movement by placing it against the headboard. If not placed against the headboard, and whenever the material is longer than 10 feet, as is usually the case with trusses, you must use 2 straps for the first 5 feet plus another strap for every additional 10 feet or part thereof. If the cargo is prevented from forward movement by placement against the headboard, you must use 1 strap for the first 5 feet and another strap for every 10 feet of length or portion thereof. Although you will probably never ever have such a situation, and then only with wall panels, you need to know that if more than a third of the top tier of the material is above the headboard doesn't count as securement, and you will need to use another strap. If the load is not against the headboard, you need 2 straps for the first 5 feet and 1 for every additional 10 feet or portion thereof. Also, something you might not pick up from the handbook: if there is no material set behind the load to prevent rearward forces, you must have a strap placed within 4 feet of the most rearward strap to help resist the rearward forces. The goal here is to effectively use the straps to secure the load. Using only the minimum number required is not being efficient and is not a goal of the company. Making sure the load is properly secured is a big goal of the company. Understand, you will never get cited for using too many straps. Straps should be positioned as symmetrically as possible over the length of the material. When spacers are used, such as wall panel loads, straps should be placed as close as possible to the spacers. If you are going to have 3 tiers, you must strap down the bottom 2 and then put straps over the 3rd tier. You can band 2 tiers together, which then makes that material 1 tier, not 2. Then you do not have to use extra straps. On occasion, you may be asked to deliver or transfer material other than trusses or wall panels, perhaps full bunks of lumber, bunks strapped together by the vendor who sold us the material. Do not assume that they are still banded tight enough to keep boards from coming loose. We have learned this the hard way. It is highly recommended that you tarp or reband the full bunks of material. This is especially true with southern yellow pine, which can be pretty slippery. Your rebanding the material will help prevent boards from slipping out of the middle of the bunk during a hard break or turn. Be careful when tightening down the straps, especially if the bar or your hands are wet from rain or sweat. You should regularly check your pry bar to make sure there are no cracks. You should also note that your tightening up one strap can affect the tightness of the strap that you have already tightened. So once you have tightened all straps, go back and check every strap to make sure one has not loosened up. When you are driving down the road, look in the mirrors to check for any straps that are becoming loose. If you see any, pull off the road and retighten the straps. If your delivery is much more than 15 miles, you probably should retighten your straps after the first 15 miles. Because the majority of our truss loads require over-dimensional permits and escort vehicles, it is important that you be familiar with these regulations and that you load the trailer according to the permit issued. The permit will specify the route, and you are not to alter that route. The regulations restrict the length to 85 feet on state roads and 75 feet on county roads. Again, the trailer must be loaded according to the permit issues. You should make sure the orange or red flags are displayed on each of the 4 corners of the vehicle and load. The permit will also specify whether 1 or 2 escort vehicles are required. Communications with the escort vehicles can only be done with CB radios or two-way radios, not by mobile phone or text. Each state and county permit will specify what the allowed speed limit is. The state permit is usually 50 miles per hour on highways with 4 or more lanes and 45 miles per hour on highways with less than 4 lanes. County permits are usually 35 miles per hour. Follow these speed limits. To summarize, securing our materials safely and legally is your most important job responsibility. The life of someone in the vehicles driving near you is in your hands, so take this responsibility very seriously. Always make sure the straps, ratchets, and hooks are in good condition. Study the Cargo Securement Handbook. Reband complete bunks to make sure they are tightly held together. Make sure straps are inside the rub bar if practical. Make sure your truss load is flush on the driver's side, and load the trailer according to the permit. And if you are ever in doubt about whether your load is secure, get some help. Don't alter the route from the route specified in the permit. And after driving a few miles, check the straps to make sure one hasn't loosened up. Thank you for your attention, and thank you for your hard work and for all you do for Zeeland Lumber and Supply Company.